Welcome back to the Kenner Jurassic World Park build, where we are working on our carnivore sector and have made some adjustments and fixes to the herbivore sector. I think we're going to work on Iguanodon first. I do want new Tyrannosaurs, but Iguanodon's a little easier to get started on. I made very mildly so because it is still over $1 million and a little restrictive on logistics, but it's not too bad. And then yeah, we can process a batch of galleys here, which is maybe done. Did we finish galley? We did. Okay. And trike. Cool. Yeah, we want to get some of those out too, so perfect. And then we did finish this. Okay, so that's kind of all good. Heavy fence is probably worth doing too. Actually, yeah, I think I might want a heavy fence for the carnivore sector. No, not completely. Maybe for the back here where the Rexes are, but for the rest of it, maybe not. So this is the Jurassic Park amphitheater. We're going to build our carnivore sector around this. I think that'll be fun. There's not really like a good equivalent attraction in Jurassic World for like a big carnivore area, so I think using the amphitheater kind of makes sense. It's another good way to mix like park era and world era vibes together. So I think that's good. In terms of our herbivore exhibits here, we're basically just expanding these out, kind of keeping the same vibe. Straightening out this middle section, we got it fixed up here a little bit, so we're just going to wait for all this to get done first. And then yeah, I'm thinking here, literally, we just do kind of a San Diego sort of thing. So we just take out path sections as spokes. We can connect those up, and then we can do exhibits in between. I'm thinking this is a good way for us to display our small carnivores like Dimetrodon and Ceratopsian. So, what is a good way to do this correctly and have it be like to actually match the curve all the way around? I don't know. I might do a little bit of experimenting off video for that. Okay, and yeah, we do have the fence connections here, so yeah. I think I'll experiment with that while this stuff runs. So, thanks to the mod that removes hitboxes, what we can do to make this perfectly circular is we can create these paths here, right? We put these little bits to mark it, and then you can delete the path coming off of the entrance, and then make a new path coming from the marker here, and you can actually go through the amphitheater without connecting to the entrance, which allows you to connect the two sides together, and then you can build out the network of spokes to get the perfect circle from the center inside the amphitheater, rather than trying to align way out here with these 4 exit paths, which is just too far apart to actually snap everything together. So hot tip if you're playing with the same kind of mods we are. So now we should be able to just simply delete this, all of these. We don't need these anymore. Now we've got a perfect semicircle, and it'll just, everything aligns. Very nice. Very happy. Took a little bit of thinking, but we got there. Very similar to what we've done before, of course, with making these big path circles. We've just never done it with an amphitheater in the middle, so I'm very happy with this. All right, I got the basic stuff there, like working, running. 5 and 25 is our die-cast Gallimimus model. So this is kind of a green, blue, red Gallimimus. So we want a batch of these. I guess I'll leave the Humble Social on. Might as well. Run that on you. We should also do another wave of the original set of galleys we had, because these guys in the toy line have a full-size figure, and then they have a hatchling figure, and then there's the die-cast, right? So having like a 2-to-1 ratio of the blues to the greens makes sense to me, because one design is more common in the merchandising, right? Getting a hippo in game would definitely be interesting. We won't. I'm just gonna say it now. But it would certainly be an interesting choice. I think I'll take 10 of these. I don't see a reason not to take all 10. I think we've got, what, 7 in currently? So if we hatch 2 more waves of 10, we've got like 27 galleys, and that's a pretty good number. That's like a appropriate Gallimimus number, you know? Oh, and I did pick out a skin for the Anki, green ones. We will be adding that. So why kill you? Ooh, I didn't think, you know what? My other fences are probably still building on the other part of the park. I haven't, like, I guess as long as they don't cross over, maybe we can sneak this in. I want my park fence, thank you. Oh yeah, and that's going to be cranky on the connection too. I don't need it to connect there. I can actually just go through here. That's fine. That is almost correct. Let's just... Should I do it right? Should I do it the right way? Let's do it the right way. God damn it. It's going to bother me if I don't do it. I will know that it's wrong. Okay. Well, as long as the Stegos and, like, the Ankies and Trikes don't see each other, it's fine. There's a lot of fence to build over there. I could sedate these guys. We're not going to release these till the fences are built. I don't think we need to. He says as the Anki starts walking over. Stop it! Turn around. Go the other way. Also, your territory's shit. Why did you do this? They are already overlapping. No. No. Hurry, fence, please. Okay, it's coming. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the Yankees just need to move around more. We're not going to overly concern ourselves with their problems. Yeah, interesting that the color preview for this is very red on the pattern, and like it is red stripes, but the blue stands out much more. So it's a fun Gallimimus color, I think. I like these guys. Again, colors coming from the expanded color mod specifically. I will go for another round. So going back to the base. Get our welfare person on a break and check our fossils here too. Then we can get trikes, which we've been kind of slacking on. We definitely need some more of those. And then get started on the Iggies. Iguanodon is only a diecast model. It has no no actual proper action figure. Still canon in my mind to Kenner, but because it only has the one diecast model and no figures, we will be actually, hold on. I want to do some terraforming. I'm going to raise the terrain back here so that this is all up a hill before we take the fence down. So I'm going to pause while I do that. But yeah, the Iguanodons are going to be like maybe just 2 in the park or something because they're rare in like, you know, the sense of how often they appear in the toy line. Okay, we're getting a fresh wave of galleys here now. So this will be like 27 galleys. I think that's a good healthy number. We just finished the Triceratops fossils. In terms of Triceratopses, we have the 93 variant mod. We have a few different green colors. I don't think I want any of these patterns if I remember correctly. So we're going to do a few different green Triceratopses to throw in here. There's a lot of Triceratopses in the toy line, of course. The problem is in the game here, both in terms of like the base game Triceratops and the modded Triceratops, the colors don't really stand out from each other that much. Like there's a lot of subtle shade differences you can do, and they're just not terribly impressive. The counter Triceratopses tend to be varying shades of green with like different, you know, like underbelly colors and stuff like that. Or like blue-green is a better way to put it. They're a pretty blue-green. Sometimes they veer more heavily into green, but anyway, this is all to say we're going to target some green ones here to go along with the blue ones we started with. Social Humble, sure. I'm just going to do like one more wave of these guys for now, I think. Actually, let me check my notes. I put down 5+ Triceratopses. So I think it's this, an adult, 3 hatchlings, a juvenile, plus a diecast, which I guess I didn't count in that 5+. So maybe like 8 trikes is a good compromise or something. I think Suka will be cut initially, and we'll get it in a DLC. That's what I truly believe will happen. We'll see a Chaos Theory redesign, but it'll be paid. All right, we need a little bit more ground leaf. Let's put some over here. Maybe a little bit over here too. Actually, I don't really want all these trees right here, because it blocks the view of the truck looking down the hill, which aesthetically is a big part of the logic for how I designed this exhibit with the truck up on the hill. So we're going to paint over these trees with, like, I guess stego food is a good compromise. All right. Yeah. I don't intend to keep the stegos in this exhibit. I'm going to put the stegos on the Cretaceous cruise eventually, but this is a good holding pen for now. Move them out later. Makes a lot of sense. All right, for our trikes, we have 6 of these guys. Social humble. I'm going to skip. Oh, these are just weak. These are not aggressive. Okay. Extra variant, extra variant, extra variant, Svalbard, Svalbard, Svalbard. So if we do 2 of these, and then I guess we just take you. And that gives us 8. Sure. Yes. I think it's likely all the film skins that already exist return, but there is technically a possibility that some of them get left behind for one reason or another. I think some of them should be adjusted. Like the Gallimimus skin, the 93 Gallimimus should be the juvenile, or should be a skin for the juvenile specifically, but I don't expect that to happen necessarily. That's what should happen, in my opinion. The bull is the same size, though, like, actually in real life, because it's the same animatronic as the Buckrex. The whole thing with the bull being smaller just kind of came up out of some different fan speculation and some weird DVD extras or whatever. So it's not really a canonical thing. Essentially, the Bull Rex being smaller is neither canon nor not canon. It's kind of a weird thing that is, like, not actually true about the animatronic, but kind of is said in some places, and then not said in other places. So it just exists in this weird limbo of, like, it can be whatever you want it to be. I think seeing a singular skin with a noticeable size difference is not outside the realm of possibility, but unlikely. Like, unique physical features on a skin, sure, but once you change the sizes, that changes the animation interactions between other animals. That gets to be a little too complicated, probably. Yeah, the Camp Cretaceous Spino is a weird one because it's supposed to be the same animal. It just doesn't quite look the same. So that gets into a really weird position of just, like, should that have a different skin or not? Like, if it's intended to be the same animal and they just failed to replicate it properly, is that actually a variant? I don't know. I'm not super invested in getting, like, screen accurate perfect skins in the game, as long as the skins are accurate enough to be recognizable as the variant, because there is a tendency for animatronics and CGI models to have subtle differences in the skins and the patterns, or the physical characteristics as well. And there's also a tendency for when those skins return in other pieces of Jurassic media, they don't look quite right anyway. So Some people get really hung up on like perfect accuracy, screen accuracy, and I just think it's a lost cause because there's just too much variance anyway. But that's just my take, you know. And definitely some of like the screen accuracy mods are superior to what we have in base game. So even if I don't think it's necessary, I'm glad those mods exist because it's an opportunity to get like some upgrades here. So these guys are good to go. The pen is like almost perfect essentially for them. So that's great. So yeah, let's get moving on now. Maybe the... Do I want to move the Dilos? We have just the 5. The Dilos should work. Sure. The Coelophysis are a little more tedious since there's 11, so we'll get the guys moving over that we can easily trank and move first. And then we got to build the Rex pen. I haven't done that yet, but we'll get there. Let's get these trikes out. And then we got the Ankies. So the Ankies have been pissy. They're good now because I like really overdid making the exhibit optimal for them. I'm sorry, what are you doing? Don't eat ass on stream, man. That's not correct. You can't do that. They need an alpha, so let's get them an alpha. So we're gonna keep breeding the green Anki until we get the alpha, and then we hatch the alpha when we get it. So this is mangrove, is what we want. 743. Boom. Okay. And then, yeah, for the Rex pen, we're going to put like 3 or probably 4 Rexes, dependent on me. Actually, I'm going to put concrete fences in here, so we're going to hold off a second. Also, the outline is disgusting on this building. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. Just the fact that it's so... Like, the V here really looked gross. I really didn't like that. Alright, there we go. Oh no! Storm warning. Okay, let's get a shelter put in here quick. Maybe just like right here. I don't want to do the amenities yet until we have all these exhibits occupied, so that we can actually see how much we really need, which is why I haven't done anything with that. But then yeah, before the storm rolls in, our trikes. So yeah, I mean, it's barely green. And the other ones aren't going to be any better. They're all barely green. Alright, that's just a power station. That's not a huge deal. The long grass would be good. I agree. I am team long grass. Okay, nice quick storm. That's what I want to see. With luck, maybe not much in the way of damage on the dinosaurs. Alright, let's get those shelters closed back down. Sorry. What happened here? You clipped out of the pen. Incredible work, my dude. Really funny that he clipped out of the pen in the storm when you expect, you know, an escape to actually mean a fence is down, but that's what it is instead. I mean, it shouldn't matter which one of these I pick, so I guess we'll start here. Hopefully, 5 is not too many for this exhibit. I don't think this is where I want my final Dilo pen to be anyway. So if this is too many, maybe we just move them out of here. I don't know. He goes into the long grass after saying don't go into the long grass because he's got nowhere else to go. Everybody else is going in there, so it's either like you separate from the group and take your chances that way, or you go with the group and take your chances. So I get it. I don't think it's weird that he went. Alright, everybody else is done here, so we need Concrete fences for the Rex pen. Let's get the research for that going. I am going to do this. Is there any expeditions I have for like 4 logistics? Pterodactylus and Tanystropheus. Pterodactylus goes in first technically, so we'll dig up that. I'm going to put the genetic specialist on break. We'll check our eggs. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Scramble, make omelet. All right. We'll try again in a second when everybody else is back. All right, Dilos. Yeah, some special like 1v1 type kills for like notable fights in the franchise would be cool. I would like that. We've got some of that. It'd just be nice to see more. The irony of viewing path for a Dilo exhibit is not lost on me, by the way. Just like, don't get too close, you know, they'll spit at you. It's fine. I mean, I plan to put these guys on the boat tour for the novel reference anyway, which also is fraught with the same issue of, you know, you're swimming past a poisonous spitting dinosaur in a kayak. Like, that's not good. Okay, 5 down, yeah. So they're good to go. Plenty of space to expand, which is great because we do want at least one more. We do have the alpha in charge already. Okay, yeah, so they could stay here for a while. That's not a concern. Which is great. Let's get you on this shit. And let's get the other Coelophysis sedated and moved while we're, you know, already have one unconscious. Now, I was thinking we'd keep the Coelos with their own dedicated exhibit rather than put them in with a large carnivore because of the panic that it tends to happen. But I am open to consolidating the exhibit possibly at some point. We'll decide later. Yeah, I still can't do the Anki. Because, yeah, so the guy on Solenhofen is my other dude I need. Also, double disgruntled anyway, so... Okay. Sure. E. coli. Okay, so probably should put a medical team in here now. A dedicated one for the carnivore area. Especially given the tendency for, you know, disease outbreaks. 1, 2, and then a line somewhere that looks good. These guys don't need like any trees, right? Yeah. Let's do a little bit more decoration here for fun. Because I don't want these exhibits to look all the same. Can this tree please leave me? Leave me. Okay. We're gonna do this. Let's grab the sand brush. Let's fill in the entire like area enclosed by the path with sand to start with. Big sand pit. Make sure we get some of this weird shit done. There's like plants here, I think. Not much, but a little bit. Yeah. And then we can use the modded brushes here. We can actually do desert stuff, which is weird because it is a big pile of water, but you know, let's do some palm trees in the middle. Kind of a little desert oasis thing going on here. And then around the outside, we'll do like cactuses. And let's mix in some different types of cactuses in some different areas a little bit. Okay, I mean, honestly, without the saguaro, like, these are not very noticeable anyway. There. That's a decent little Dimetrodon exhibit, I think. Does it make sense? Maybe not. This cactus is literally in the water, but that's kind of funny. So I think we'll leave it. Then the Dilo exhibit just being a bunch of trees that it's hard to see them in mostly is, I think, pretty good. And then the Coelophysis exhibit. Let's get the water in before we move these guys over. Weird that it didn't appear on the first click. That was kind of strange. Sedate the rest of these. Move the current Sleeping Beauties over. So I'm thinking for this exhibit, maybe we do like the fall trees or something. That could be fun. Okay. Can I please click on both of these? You can do it. You can do it. Click on him. He's there somewhere. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. What does the gray minus mean in JWE2? Which gray minus? What are you seeing? I think we could use a Cretaceous skin, a film accurate one. I think that is one of the animals that's like close but not quite there. I think Dilo's close but not quite there. And I think Pachycephalosaurus needs a film skin too. I don't think that one's even close, in my opinion. Like the shape of the animal's good, but the color palette's not. Alright, pausing for a second. So, let's look at our shit. Everybody's back. Everybody's happy. Let's get the last of the No, Iguanodon was fully processed. Just kidding. So let's hold off on the Pterodactylus for a moment. Wait, Iguanodon is still... Does Iguanodon have an extra fossil? Is it one of those animals? Oh, 99%. I swear it summed up to 100. Okay. Interesting. Let's get another chance at the Anki Alpha. Alright, let's let that stuff run. Alright, Iggy. There's the final one. The last 1%. But hey, you know what? It came with a bunch of money back. Not enough to actually justify the dig, but, you know, something at least. We'll get that. We'll rest up you. We'll rest up you. We'll check our Anki Alpha and see if there's anything to that. Humble, skittish, social humble. Does that work? Both of the two we have would have to be skittish. Skittish? Skittish. Okay. Yeah, that works. They can all be skittish. That's not a problem. Alright. Can't hatch them yet, though. Alright, we got the Rex in the carnivore sector. He's happy. Let's get the Anki Alpha first and foremost. So, one skittish green Ankylosaurus based off the diecast model trading card specifically. Because that is a unique color palette. So we do that. Then we do an expedition, and then we breed an Iguanodon after that, I guess. So maybe we push Pterodactylus. We put in like a Pterodactylus aviary somewhere. It's just like a temporary exhibit. Or a permanent one, because we have to have two aviaries if we're doing Cats, Pteranodon, and Pterodactylus. Yeah, let's dig it up and then think about where it should go while it's being worked on. Because we're going to do Iguanodon first anyway. So that's like not a priority. All right, we're working on cleaning up the park here, but we do have pterodactyl fossils to process, so let's do that. 71 and 29, so the rest is actually sellable. So another overpopulated one. That's fine. Sure, I'm just gonna have those guys process it, get out of the way, because we still got a while to go for the Anki. We're working on restructuring the amenities. We had to add new ones down here. Something changed. For some reason, these are actually close to capacity now with 2 sets of large, and I swear they weren't before last stream, even after we put in these 3 hotels, but they do seem to... Why are you... Is he stuck in the trees? What the fuck is this shit? Why is there not a notification this guy is stuck, by the way? You should get a pop-up that the car is stuck somewhere. Yeah, he got stuck in the trees. What a joke. How long has he been there? Unbelievable. Anyway, painted feeder, yes. Yeah, so that's kind of everything that's been updated. I got distracted, but that is all that has happened. Here's today's weird JWE2 moment. Burgers and fries. Burgers and fries are weird. Why are burgers and fries weird? They show the single white arrow, but if you switch from burgers and fries to cheap burgers, watch what happens here to the meters. We lose orange and green. Burgers and fries secretly provides a tiny amount of orange and green demand, but not as much as donuts. So donuts, between donuts and burgers and fries, you just lose some orange and green, but the same amount of white is present. And then if you switch to cheap burgers, you get 2 white arrows worth, but you lose the rest of the orange and green. Why? Why does the game... Why is it like this? Weird. Anyway, yes, back to me tinkering with my amenities. All right, maybe knock out Avian Viewing Gallery, since that's available, just to have the option. I think we will use this, actually, just because we usually don't use these, so maybe it'd be good for once to actually use it. Right? Sure, I modded it to not be prohibitively expensive, so now is like the time to use it. Alright, so these are set up. We still got the hotels building, so it's not fully optimized, but like it's there. And yeah, there's our Anki Alpha finally. So, a nice green one. This is yeah, mangrove, the greenest green. So that's our diecast guy. I'm probably gonna... we can put a little more fruit in here. We got space. But he needs to take over.
While our science is paramount, I do understand that the guests enjoy
he needs to be in charge.
Closer and more...
Oh yeah, we never looked at the other green trike patterns. So we had extra variant 6. This one that's barely green. And we had extra variant... No, we had, I think one of the base, yes, Fallbard, which is also barely green, but slightly darker. So
give them what they
not
want,
much.
as long as it doesn't...
Alright, so the Iguanodon is solely a diecast model, as I mentioned. It has kind of a green with yellow splotch pattern on it, which honestly would be best represented by the Dominion style Iguanodon, except he sucks, and I am Team Frontier Iguanodon, so I'm using the Frontier Iguanodons, especially because of the possibility of these guys getting removed in JWE3. I just want to use my favorite Iguanodon as much as I can, basically. I think on the card art, there's like maybe 2 Iguanodons shown. Should be here in my notes. In theory, 2, yes. And these guys are Min Pop 1. So I think we're going to just breed 2 of these. So what we could do then, let's go to the genome. Let's get the skin set up. It's this blue and yellow. We could just max out Humble and not do Social. Because their gene spread sucks anyway. Well, 100 actually. It's shockingly not bad. I thought it was worse than this, actually, but it isn't. So, okay. Sure. 743. Why not? And then we have our expedition guys. We just finished Pterodactyl. We could go work on Pterodactylus. We could go work on Tanystropheus. Or Pteranodon. Or Pteranodon. Or Pteranodon. Were there always 3 Pteranodon dig sites? There must have been. It's just because the tree is set up in such a way that like they're not already occupied by other fossils, that it seems weird to me that there's 3 Pteranodon sites. Let's do Tanny. Which we can actually just do on this guy alone, which is nice too. Okay. Alright, this is what I've got cooking for an aviary. We got a nice cliff-rimmed aviary here, which should be more roomy for when we put a Kets in it. So I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out so far. This is our Pachycephalosaurus arena / petting zoo replacement. So it's going right here on the other side of Main Street from what is currently the Ceratosaurus kingdom. And this is going to be Kets and Pterodactylus. And we're going to put the Pteranodons on the Cretaceous cruise. So that is the plan. Unfortunately, we can't make this overhang. The cliff will not go underneath a building. You can make the cliff go underneath the aviary ledge. Like you can have this concrete rim here on the aviary float over air, but you can't do that with the buildings, even with the mods. Otherwise, yeah, it would be kind of cool to have the aviary viewing gallery actually overhang everything, but does not work. At least not with the way I was doing it. It doesn't work. So yeah, why am I over here? I'm looking for my iguanodons that are ready. Ready-ish. Not what I meant to do. I wanted my hatchery, please. Alright, we got 4 eggs. Skittish, short-lived, social humble, tolerant humble. So if we take the social humble and any skittish, then we have actually a proper alpha. Okay. I will put the cheaper research person on this and just exhaust them. That seems fine. Let's see what it takes to make a Pterodactylus. These are 6. So once we put the genes in this, it'll be more. We're looking for a brown skin. We're doing the Rana pattern. So the Pterodactylus, right? This does not have a toy, ever. Never, never, ever, ever. This shows up specifically in the concept art for the show as basically Tim Murphy's pet. You see 2 separate art pieces where Tim Murphy is feeding a little Pterodactylus on his shoulder. So that's where this reference is coming from. It appears to be brown, which is why this is the best we can kind of do. The patterning on this guy is very plain on the concept art, and he doesn't really have the crest. But, you know, it is the same species technically, so that's the logic there. You know, it's close enough, an interesting excuse to include this mod that I've never used in the pack. So let's get them. All right, and we got Tanystropheus fossils. So this is like wave 3. This is JP series 2, which we're doing after the diecast. So we're not going to put this guy in immediately, but we are almost done with the diecast. So we are getting close to this. All right, let's go find more Tanystropheus, and then we got a storm to deal with. So we send him out because he does it alone, and get these bunkers open. Oh, yes. Okay, exactly this. Now that we have these hotels in. Okay, the amenities are doing fine. Mostly, more or less. Before the storm affects us. 96, 93 is fine. 87 restroom, 97 shelter. Okay. So where do they need pissers? What's the problem with the restroom here? Is it also this? It is also this. Okay. Sneak it in back here. Doesn't really fit. Bathroom is next to the 2 buildings, maybe. Or I put them like here. It's not great either, because these ones are already here. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I have a plan. We put the shelter in the corner first. So we're going to put the shelter in line with the path like that. On each side. But then we put the bathroom in next to it. Right up tight to it, technically overlapping. That way there's a little bit of space for car maneuverability. Hopefully this doesn't cause issues. This side's going to be... yeah, it's about the same, actually. Okay. And hopefully that's good. 100%. Still says 93. 94. Maybe it's still updating. This is showing... oh, this bathroom literally just broke and messed everything up. Yep. Yeah, Parkasaurus is definitely more... I have played Parkasaurus, first and foremost. I've considered doing a run on the channel at some point, but not anytime soon. And yeah, it is like more in-depth on the management, but it also didn't really click for me exactly on the management either. It felt a little spammy, a little bit like a little too dependent on like just filling in gaps on heat maps. So not bad or anything per se, it just wasn't exactly what my idealized version of dinosaur management would be. Okay, you can turn though, car. Holy hell. At least that tree doesn't have a hitbox. That turn radius is like... what am I driving, a like 70s Buick or something here? Like what the fuck is that shit? Okay, is this one... yeah, 24, 25, okay. Sucks that I gotta do these manually, but I don't really want to ruin the aesthetic of this exhibit, so we'll just keep doing it manually. It's very pretty driving around in here too, with like the ferns and stuff. Ow. I like it. I like the exhibit. I just wish it worked better in game. Okay, 3 minutes. What do we get here? Sickly, sickly. I mean, that's fine. I'll take your whole stock. No population plan for the pterodactyls in particular. You know, it's only the one Pterry that comes from the concept art, and one is just not going to be, you know, enough of a proper roster for a park, so we'll do some extras. Tanny is probably done here. Yes. Okay, so the last goal for today is to finish the Rex. So we're going to move on to that. Of course, we got to get these eggs back and get our dudes sorted out. Or you get these eggs hatched. Get these eggs back. That doesn't make any sense. And, you know, do all that. Okay, iguanodons. I think we're going to put these in the gyrosphere. Kind of as a replacement for the parasaurs, which we're putting on the entrance tour. It makes sense to me, I think. I appreciate the click on the fence shortcut to bring up fences, but it almost always just happens when I'm trying to click on something else. That's a pretty good looking iguanodon skin, even ignoring like the fact that it's trying to replicate the color palette of an existing design. I do like this like kind of blue-green and yellow-orange look. I'm gonna miss this guy. Well, at least we got him here. All right, to the Pterodactylus. 5 eggs. 7 welfare. Let's check their social real quick. I assume these guys are based on like Dimorphodon or Geolopterus. I think they're Geolopterus because they are, yeah, insect feeder. Min pop 3. Okay. So yeah. Okay. What if I put this here, this is probably going to mess up my cliff. This kind of feels like where it should be, though, you know? Maybe let's save. Let's save and see what happens when we put this in. I kind of like the idea of the insect feeder being right in front of the viewing gallery, up on top of a cliff. Maybe like in front of one of the windows and specifically? That's not bad. I like it. It's not perfect, but I like it. We just gotta paint in, and then it's good to go. I think we'll leave this whole cliffside as rock. I think that's fine. Yeah. All right. It is kind of weird that it's the one protrusion on this side and this one just looks straight down, but we can put some other decorations over here to make that a reasonable choice. Hopefully this... So here's a question, right? Will this pit, which you cannot normally do in the game, will this interfere with the pterosaur AI? Like, if I have a fish feeder down here, can the cats fly down and find it? We'll see what happens. We'll just... Probably this one will be fine because this is on, like, ground level, technically. So I don't think that'll be an issue, but... A little bit of experimentation. Alright, let's get our Pterodactylus out. Okay. Very interesting release animation. But we're fine. The game works. Okay, they do want sand. So we're going to do a nice little sandy bit here around the water. Okay. You know what? What if I put a little tree perch right here, maybe? I think that could work. But then we do have, like, a symmetry of sorts, right? We do this, and then we do, I'm thinking specifically the dead log perch, this one. Like, right like that. Like, right on the cliff edge. That's kind of sick. I think that works. Can't tell how much of this is still, like, grass textured. Yeah, there's the Pterodactylus. He's not very brown, but, like, mostly went with, you know, brown on the wings. So... I'll have to see if they use the perch or use the insect feeder. He looks like he might be going in. Also, who is our alpha here real quick? Number 1? Humble, sickly, social. Okay, you're Pterry then, because one of them was named in the concept art. The only one in the concept art is named. So, Pterry the Pterodactylus. Pterry. Of course, we have a few other dinosaurs named in the park because, you know, nicknames did exist in the toy line. So I've kind of wanted to include that wherever we can. Let's take a peek at the expedition map. Oh yeah, we still have Tanny fossils to clear too. Let's do that. On you. And these are both 13. Cost actually doesn't matter because our economy's been... gangbusters. I probably should have nerfed this more, but honestly, with the amount of time we've spent building, I'm okay with not having to worry about money. That seems fine. And then with the rest of the dudes, the P in Pterry is probably silent. Like, it's concept art that's labeled with a name, so, you know, maybe they voiced it out loud and it was Pterry, but it seems rather unlikely. We'll do the salmonella vaccine here on this person. They can sit. Yeah, nice shot of these guys here on the tree perch. Very cool. Let's look at it from inside, even though it's dark. Yeah, you can actually appreciate your pterosaurs in this way, even when they do weird shit like that. And the feeder seems to be working, maybe? Yeah, okay. He just ate a big bug. Did they always, like, eat from the edge of the insect feeder like they're catching fish? Because I thought they snatched him out of midair. Maybe this is specific to this mod animal? Or maybe an issue with how this has been set up in some way? I don't know. It's a little weird. But it works. This is cool. No, I'm really happy with how this turned out. This is great. Alright. Alright, here's our batch of fossils. Actually, a perfect set of 3 Rex, and we don't need to fill in with anything. So, if we do you on this, then I can't do Brockies. If I do you on this, and then I hatch Brockies, I can't do fossils. But cheaper expedition guy needs a break anyway, so I think we'd do this. I think we do that, and then we hatch Brockies. So, for the Brachiosaurs, I want 9 of these because there are 9 depicted in the card art for the diecast model in the toy line. That's specifically the motivation. Now, the JP Series 1 hatchling and the diecast model are the film Brachii that's kind of blue. So that's the main variant we're interested in. And then there's a JP Series 2 hatchling that's green, and then there's a hatchling in the Lost World that is, for all the world, appears to just be probably a Mamenchisaurus hatchling or a nondescript sauropod, but it is labeled Brachiosaurus on the toy. So we're going to do a brown striped Brachiosaurus, which may be a JP3 model variant. I have not decided. I need to go back to Species Viewer and look at that. But that will actually work with the weird, awkward proportions of the hatchling to make it more like different from the traditional quote-unquote Brachiosaurs. So I think doing a JP3 one kind of makes sense for that. All that is to say, since we want 9 of these, I want specifically 5 blue ones, and then we'll do 2 green, 2 brown, I think is the way to do it. Which means we'll get 2 more out now, and then we'll do 1 when we're doing the Series 2, which will be the next thing we work on, and then we do 1 when we're doing Lost World, which will be what we finish up on. So that's kind of the plan there. Let's do this. No, I shouldn't have done that. I should have waited for the rest to come back, because now we can't do expeditions. Whatever, it's fine. We'll, shit. Whatever. Knocking out the Packy research, so he's ready to go for next time. And then we'll get the Pachycephalosaurs into the park while we work on setting up the cruise, which will move the Dilos out of the carnivore sector and free up a spot for the eventual Carnotaurus that'll be coming shortly. We also need a spot for Utahraptor, which I forgot on my sheet here. So we'll have to figure out where that goes. We'll have 1 too many carnivores currently for the space we have. Also get the cats and the Tanny in real quick, so that'll work out well. Alright, yeah. So we got probably 2 or 3 more Rex expeditions to do. Let's do this one first. We want to keep our welfare back, so... But I do have to send the 2. So we do that. Hopefully the Brockies then are 8. Because I think they are. Or no, the Brockies are done, sorry. Chuck these guys over here at the entrance. Down by the lagoon. Lowercase L lagoon, not like, you know, lagoon. And then... Yeah, I guess that's kind of it. Okay. Let's just get fossils. All right, shout out to Biocraft for the idea of putting a railing on the Jeep tour up here on the cliff so they don't drive over the edge. Conceptually, they don't drive over the edge, right? Like, they're not actually going to do it, but I like this vibe a lot. I appreciate this. We have, like, the perfect modded fence to make this work as a railing because while it is in view, it is also not fully obstructing the view of the lagoon down there. So it gives it a really, like, real park vibe. This worked out really well. Very happy with this. All right. And then, yeah, our Rex fossils came in, so let's take a peek. 2 guys, but that does fill up most of the available space, so let's process that. And then just the 1 dig site left. Because this, that's Triceratops anyway. Yes. Wait, which one did I click? Yes, okay. 7-4, and I think let's do you. That way we can put you on rest and bring the other guy in. Or we could put in both Plateosaurus and Mosasaurus, and that would be cool. Anyway, here we have our last T-Rex fossil, which is why I unpaused the video mid-conversation. Everybody is mad and wants to take a nap. Maybe... Yeah, let's just do this while we rest the genetics, because we'll need them for the Rex anyway. And then I gotta back out to the menu and figure out which kind of Rex I want. Alright, so to finish up, we're doing a juvenile T-Rex. Let's reset the genes, just to save a little bit of money, because he shouldn't be the alpha if he's the juvenile, right? So we're doing this kind of nice, slightly orangish brown skin. I mean, this is pretty much just brown, but, like, this is the best match. And this is based off of the... oh yeah, I gotta wait for my scientists to come back, but this is the one we will be breeding, so there it is. This is, of course, based off the young Tyrannosaurus toy from the first wave of Jurassic Park toys back in '93. You had the big red Rex, but then you had the smaller brown Rex, and so that's why we're doing specifically a juvenile T-Rex for this one. Plan is going to be to have 4, because there's kind of 4 iconic T-Rex figures in the Kenner toy line, ignoring hatchlings and stuff. So there's the young Rex, the big red Rex, and then, of course, the buck and the doe from Lost World, which we'll also add to the park. And we even have skins specifically based on the toy versions of the buck and the doe, which is perfect. All coming from the novel mod, so we'll be using just a nice combination of those. And they'll all match aesthetically because they're from the same mod. While the Rex cooks, we're going to do a Pteranodon expedition. That'll go in on the aviary, or that will obviously go in the aviary, but that will go in a separate aviary on the Cretaceous cruise, so that won't be going in anytime soon. All right, we had to hire a new person to get the Rex egg going, but we got it. We just grabbed a generalist with 4 welfare. I think we're going to hold off on these. Actually, there's only 2 pips left. Let's process these. Yeah, because we can do Pachycephalosaurus on the one guy while the other guy rests. That's perfect. Perfect timing. All right, fossil time. Not really worth processing, so I don't think we will. We can pivot back to Pteranodon, I think, now. He'll have to rest afterwards, but I think I'm okay with that. Not a big deal. All right, final batch of fossils for today. I would prefer the Pachycephalosaurus. Yeah, there's no optimal combo there that works. We'll do that. That is going to be on you. Send some people on vacations, get our Rex out, and we'll end by taking a quick peek at him. All right, here's our young T-Rex. I would like to see him next to the adult. Okay. Don't walk away. Come back. Well, okay. I mean, we got a good look here. So yeah, there's the big one and the little one. The toys themselves would be closer in scale than this, but this still works. It also is pretty fun as a novel reference, which is probably why specifically they had a young T-Rex in the toy line. And obviously the red T-Rex is actually based on the novel colorization, where the Rex is red. The JP Series 1 toy line actually had a few different species in it that were based on the novel colors, because the Deluxe Screaming Velociraptor is actually the novel colorization as well. So yeah, fun to have these guys here. I always appreciate a little bit of a novel reference where we can fit it in. Yeah, I think they make a good pair. And then, of course, we'll have 4 in the end, and then that'll be a whole thing. But for now, this is the plan. I guess we'll put another feeder just kind of in the arena and slap in some more trees of one kind or another. All right, then they're good to go. So I think we'll wrap this episode up there. We should name this guy. I guess just Young? Doesn't feel right, but he's the young T-Rex. Like, what else can I call him? This one is red, so we got the red Rex and the young Rex. I don't know. I think it's fine.